Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So, if you came in today flat, you know what? You didn't do the wrong thing. If you came in short, you know what? You might have been pressing the issue a little bit, considering we were at 24.90 in the S&P cash at one point last week, and then we went as low as 24.37. So, if you do the math, 50 handles from high to low. Probably you need some kind of big missile / something crazy to happen to go down another 20 handles on top of that, with the oscillator being minus 60. But it was also hard to be long, right? Who knows? That could have happened. You know, we haven't had a 3 to 5% pullback in quite some time. So looking how we kind of closed, it made some sense to be kind of flattish. So I came in flattish, and in my morning note, I put together 20 to 25 ideas. A lot of if-thens, a lot of resistance 1, resistance 2, a lot of plays that could work, that might work. You know, we have to figure it out. You know, can we hold the first gap up of the first 5, 15, 30 minutes, buy versus that pivot, and then extend into a gap and go? Or are we going to, you know, push up, put a high in, and then fade down and do a gap and fade, and then how would the leaders react? So everything kind of did, you know, everything acted pretty different, you know, or similar, depending on how you look at it. So let me just get into it because I don't have a lot of time. Here's your S&P cash. S&P cash did reclaim the 8 and 21 day right here. You now have this gap up to trade against. This is basically where we broke from, right around here, after this outside day on 8.8. So if you did reduce risk on 8.8, okay, maybe you said, hey, I'm going to take a shot down here on Friday's close. I don't think anything's going to happen. Or maybe you said, I'm just going to wait and see. Well, for today, you know, we gapped up and basically closed near the highs of the day. So now we'll see, you know, can we go sideways for a bit and hold this to then, you know, kind of create a new descending channel here to either take it out or not. Okay, at this point, you know what, if you shorted today or you were short overnight and you kept shorting it all day, then you have to figure out whether or not how much or how committed you want to be. And if you didn't buy here and you didn't buy the first half hour, you probably should be kind of light, maybe with the hedge just in case. If you look at the spiders and how you could have handled it, it wasn't easy, okay? But there were some, you know, there's some things to do, right? What were the things to do? Well, first of all, this is kind of the spot right here. First thing it did is reclaim the moving averages to show some power. We talked about, you know, 246.30 to 246.70, kind of, you know, went through that pretty fast and then did nothing for the rest of the day. You kind of have this descending channel here. So if it wanted to push up a little higher, it could. You know, for now, you have a gap to trade against. So we'll see what happens. Do we get a few inside days, and then on Fed Day Wednesday, does it try and take it out or not? You know, all you know, after some price discoveries, you have 245.55, and this is your high. If we open up, you know, up a little bit and we don't hold today's high tomorrow, maybe it fades in. If we open up inside, maybe it takes some time and we look for some out of performance. Okay, last time we had a descending channel here, you know, poked up against this for quite some time, you know, before breaking above it. This has not been above this for quite some time, so we'll see. The Qs, also, you know, you can't be so bearish. Why can't you be so bearish? Because, you know, it gapped up, held it, and now it's above the 8 and 21 day again. Here, came in, showed some relative strength. So if you had to be in something over the weekend, this is something that acted better and at least gave you a reason to be in it. But now just be a little careful that the longer we stay above this, the next time we trade above this descending channel here, maybe it goes to the upside versus, you know, the push through failure like you had here or the outside day like you had there. So you have to be careful. And we'll see what happens here. A little inside days would go a long way. You know, and then you had a lot of tactical plans. And in my note, I listed the strongest names that I think are worthy of perhaps going through resistance 1 or 2 or could have a push. Okay, one of them was Apple. Apple, to me, still seems like best in breed. I put the chart in RA this morning. Here is your gap. It did push in a little bit, but now, you know, it was the first to bounce Friday. At this point, you could be long versus this spot if you're really active, and then at some point, if that were to hold going sideways, it could continue to the upside. I am long some Apple. Looks to me best in breed, a pebble throw away from, you know, from the highs here. Okay, this day was not easy. It did get me out of it, and then you had to get back involved. Tesla I'm also in. Didn't act so great today. He kind of pushed and didn't have any more energy. Tesla, let's see. You know, but I don't think that the market's kind of ready for things to start pushing through highs. So for now, it held the 8-day, a little sloppy, but I would say hopefully it holds this spot, goes sideways, and can continue to the upside if the market proves it can hang around for another day or so. Ever since the Red Dog reversal prior to earnings, it's acted well. Remember this gap up here, held 343, and now it's really acting well. There's those all-time highs. So if something could, show leadership, it's showing leadership now. We'll see if that continues. Didn't have much power after the open, but again, it doesn't seem like they're breaking things out. They're just, trying to hold strong patterns in. In other high beta tech, we talked about how, Amazon could see 981, which is resistance 1, so you could be a buyer. It was 975 early on and went to 981, and now it seems like it might even push a little bit more. Here's the pattern here. It's funny how it happens. I was hoping I would be able to buy the Red Dog reversal and sit with it, and that happened on Friday, but I didn't take risk over the weekend. Here's your Red Dog reversal, here's your follow through, and now you have a gap up right here. So next resistance is closer to 993, so there's still a little bit more room before some real resistance happens. This is a snapback trade. If you took the risk, congratulations. If you sold it on this outside day, that's one Red Dog reversal top, and here's your Red Dog reversal bottom, and now we'll see what happens in there. Facebook still acting technically the best. What do I mean by that? Well, this held the 21-day. Okay, now it's back above the 8-day. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to break anything out, but we'll be able to judge the power by the market on whether or not Tesla, Facebook, or Apple continue to go up to the upper end of the range versus just bounce back. This morning I tweeted to RA around 9:21 saying, hey, I think we can get a gap fill or a partial gap fill in NVIDIA. It just reported on the wrong time and was sold. And then it gapped above, that 160, and then boy, did it fill the gap. Wow, look at that. So here you are, gapped up, filled the gap, and now, it's still best in breed. It's back in this range. You have a new point of reference, and we'll see. You could see how the market reacts with strong names, and this is back to being a strong name. It just reported on the wrong day, so you had a good opportunity today in NVIDIA if you were by your screen. Look at this gap up. We say buy versus a 5-minute low sometimes, right? And here was your 5-minute low, and then, right in here you could have bought it, put your stop in, and then it just squeezed all the way up. If you said I'm going to short it versus a 5-minute high, okay, then you shorted it versus this 162, and then once it took out 162, you had to cover it. So you could have been a buyer versus the low or a short versus the high. The buyer versus the low won. If you shorted it versus the high and you didn't cover, you got your butt squeezed and you didn't follow your rules. So you got to follow your rules. Listen, guys, it's one thing to take down risk, be risk averse because you didn't want to be involved over the weekend just in case. It's another thing if you are frustrated and you just fought short all day, now you're rolling them up, and if it continues, you're going to be caught in a pain trade for no reason just because you weren't long over the weekend and got a free gap up. There was still money to be made after the gap up. Okay, if you bought versus that 5-minute low in a lot of different spots. Anyway, what else? BABA, some guys were trading. I actually made money short BABA off the open, but then it regrouped and it still looks fine. And ultimately, I hate being short BABA, but it was a decent trade. I saw JD weak, so I'm like, hey, let me try that. But now it's still in the channel and rebuilding. Some of these leaders are rebuilding. Baidu, what'd you do today? Looked a little weaker earlier on, still held in there. And with time, could set up for another better pattern here. Let me go back to BABA for a second because he goes, how'd you make money short BABA? I was like, okay, well, I actually put some offers in first into the first push into this wide range bar. Covered a little bit, and then right around here, okay, on this lower high, you could have shorted it again, and then I think I was just done with it. I'm like, I don't want to be on the short side, and got away from it, and then it wound up holding the gap and closed near the highs, and now it still looks good. Still looks like, it's in here and can go sideways. The market proves it could hold up a few more days. Some of these leaders will be leaders again. JD, I talked about could the 50-day hold, and the 50-day did hold. Okay, here's your 50-day. Down here, it didn't even get to the 50-day. So now with a little bit of time, maybe it regroups. Had a big run. Anytime something has a big run, like JD has had or any of these things have had, you got to be a little careful, right? Back here, I remember I was on with Annabelle, putting this on as a swing trade at 28. It doubled. So now what did it do? Came back, tested the 50-day, and now it's just going to need time to kind of regroup here and prove it could hold higher. So sometimes that happens, even with the best of names. Some banks, there was some talk about deregulation. Bank of America. What did you do? Yeah, I love when I do that. I'm like, sorry, it's like Seinfeld. Took back the 8 and 21 day. It's not very special, but went above Friday's high. It's holding here. Maybe with time there could be a tradable pivot above there. If you sold when you had the topping tail here, you're always allowed to buy back into the weakness. Okay, now the 50-day held, and we'll see if this goes sideways. The Fed is Wednesday. What else? What did gold hold today? Gold started lower. Let's see, kind of held in there. Basically didn't say it's, running for the hills. It would have got crushed here. Instead, it just opened up lower and filled the gap and went sideways. So now you'll see if it can continue to do that before maybe, going again. So it's not like it fell apart because today the market bounced. So at this point, not everything is created equal. Okay, there are some things you could be short a little bit, some things to be long still if you have a reason for it. On Friday, if you took home longs over the weekend, congratulations. Not say you got lucky, but you got lucky. If you came in today and said, hey, okay, I'm flat, let me see if I could buy some things versus the first 5-minute low and then ride it out for a gap and go, you made good money. If you said I'm going to short versus the first 15-minute high, you know what? You could have lost a little bit, or you added it up all day, lost a lot, and now you're still short overnight. You got to figure it out. Snap. Snap was a good red dog reversal. I talked about that in my note. I said kind of reclaim 1177. I don't love Snap, but you know what? It opened lower. Sellers didn't come in, and it was a good day trade for some of the guys on the floor when it took back this 1177, and then some even pressed it when it took out this pivot here of 1234, went as high as 1290. Now, I'm not so sure. But good day trade. You didn't have to be long this over the weekend to make money for this to go from down 40 cents to up 90 cents. And sometimes those kind of trades could pay the bills, and they add up as long as you're not frustrated, you don't overtrade it, and again, turn a bad idea into a stubborn mess. So for today, I'm long a little Apple, long a little Tesla. I shorted a little spiders on the close just in case. Best case scenario would be, I'm sure guys want us to gap up 5 points or so they could short it and go red and then digest, or if we open down 5-6 handles, maybe you cover your hedge and you buy some of the strong stocks for today to go green, and you need to keep tactically doing this until you get more clarity from the market before you put on a portfolio approach again, and you think you could sit and hold and massage by using a tier size or a tier system to stay safe and stay with it based on the chart patterns. But as of today, some guys will go home frustrated. Don't be frustrated. It's mid-August. Go have some fun. Burn it off. It's still summertime. I promise you, this isn't the end of your month or quarter just because you missed a gap up and didn't take the risk over the weekend. There'll be a lot more action if you have clarity and you don't get frustrated and you don't revenge trade. I'll see you tomorrow morning.